thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to show you a really easy way to make fruit tartlets. This is probably one of my very favorite desserts. You can do it as a large tart or the little mini fruit tartlets as well. I really love these little tins. They're different shapes, they're different sizes, and it just kind of adds a little bit of a variety in a 1 or 2 bite kind of dessert. So I'm going to use a pastry cream. We made that in another video. It's a really great way to use up extra egg yolks. That's in the fridge chilling. But right now I'm going to show you how to make a sweet dough. This is a pâte sucrée, or a sweet dough, and it's basically like a pie crust, but it's a little bit sweeter. I'm just going to start in my mixer. I have 2 sticks of butter, that's 1 cup. And then I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. And I'm just going to put this on low to medium speed just to combine it. Now that I've got that mostly combined, I'm just going to scrape down my sides one time, and then I'm going to take it up to kind of a medium-high speed, and that's just going to make sure it's a little bit fluffy and nicely blended. And that just goes for about a minute. Now I'm going to add a 1/2 tablespoon of vanilla, a pinch of salt, and this is really important. I have like a teaspoon of lemon zest here, grated lemon zest. And this is a really important flavor profile to add into this dough. It adds just a little bit of a zing, a nice little added flavor, and leaves it less plain. So we're going to combine that. And then I'm going to add 1 whole egg and combine again. Here, I'll scrape down my sides one more time, and then we'll add our final ingredient, the all-purpose flour. So I just want to make sure that this is combined well, because once I add my flour, I don't want to over mix it. I just want to add the flour until it's combined. That way it keeps the dough from getting tough. So this step is important to make sure it's really well combined. Okay, I'm happy with that. So here I've got 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, and I'm just going to go ahead and add all of that at once. And when I turn my mixer back on, I want to make sure I start on the lowest speed so it just doesn't fly up out of the bowl. And then once it looks a little bit lumpy like this, I'm going to go ahead and stop, because I want to be sure not to over combine. Scrape everything, my beater really well, the sides really well. And that way I'm using the mixer as little as possible so we don't make that dough tough. Okay, combine again. Okay, and I'm going to stop right there, and then I can remove it from the bowl and finish the combining by hand, just kind of pat it together. And what I end up with, I want to go to the refrigerator with it after that. So I'll take plastic wrap. This is just a small piece. It makes far more than this, but a small piece. So I want to put it into a little patty and put it in plastic wrap in the refrigerator for at least an hour, so it's nice and firm. If I were to try to roll it out as soon as I brought it out of the mixer, there's going to be 2 things. It's going to be too soft and squishy to kind of roll out into a good form and handle. Plus, the butter in it is not going to provide the proper amount of steam. It will melt too easily as opposed to steaming and make it a nice puffy crust. So after this chills for at least an hour, we're going to take it out and we're going to roll it out, and I'm going to show you how to put it in the tartlet shells. Okay, so we're ready to fill our tartlet shells. My pastry cream is cooled, and I've cut up some fruit over here, just whatever you like. It can be mango, pineapple, whatever. Typically, I like to use berries, raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, and some kiwi. I think adds a really pretty color. So I've got that prepped and ready to go. And over here, I have my tartlet shells ready. Now, I want to make sure that after they've come out of the oven, I inspect what I've got here as far as color. What I'm going for is something with just where it's starting to brown. Something like this would be ideal, where it's just starting to get a little bit of light brown. This is probably good. If you leave it too light, then it's going to be not cooked through and a little bit too pasty. This one is one that would be too far, so I'll just discard that one. But in general, you want just barely a light brown color starting on these, and it's going to be perfect for the tartlet. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and grab one of my good ones, and I'm going to take the film off the surface of my pastry cream. And this has firmed up to kind of a jello state, so I'm just going to give it a quick stir so it's nice and smooth. Okay, and then I'm just going to spoon a little bit into my crust and smooth it out. This is my favorite part, is this pastry cream. That nice custardy taste to it, homemade flavor is just really yummy. So you're just going to smooth that out. It doesn't have to be beautiful because it's going to be completely covered in fruit. So what I would do if I'm making a couple dozen of them or several dozen, go ahead and fill them all first, and then you can go back and top with fruit. It's just a little bit more efficient. So you can do it like all raspberry, all blueberry, whatever you want. Here I'm just going to do a little bit of a variety. So I'm just going to put some blueberries on the edge. On this edge too. And you can just make whatever designs that you want to, but just get them as close as you can. Here I've got a little kiwi that I think is going to be really pretty. I'll do a little bit on the other side. And I like how I'm kind of shingling it up against the blueberry there. I think that's pretty. And then I'm going to put a couple of small pieces of strawberry. And my favorites, the raspberries. So you can just make whatever design you want. Now, this is a really essential step. You could stop there and it's pretty, but the thing is, if you set this out for any length of time, more than say 10 or 15 minutes, it's really going to start to dry out the fruit and it's going to start to look really dull and withered. You don't want that. This is a neutral fruit glaze, and what I do is I just put this in a little glass measuring cup and I microwave it for about 30 seconds just until it has a little bit of warmth and it flows a little bit. And then I'm just going to take a pastry brush and really gently brush over the top of it, as thin as you can get it, but just making sure that you touch the surface of all of the fruit. And you can see immediately how not only does it make it more pretty, but then it's also going to keep that surface area from drying out, so that you can put it out on display and it stays pretty. Just be careful with it that you don't leave it too thick and that all of the fruit is covered, and then you're good to go. This basically has a non-flavor. It doesn't even have like a vanilla. It's just a light sweetness. So that way it just complements whatever fruit you're using it with. So that's the finished fruit tartlet. Just use your own creativity and what kind of design that you want to set up. These can be done the day before your event and left in the refrigerator to chill, and then you can just serve them on a platter once you're ready to start your event. So give them a try. I think it's a really easy dessert, my very favorite whenever I go to a brunch, and I think you're going to have a lot of fun with it. Thanks for watching.